Good morning, everyone. It's Friday morning, September 2023. I hope you're all ready to have a good weekend. A lot of people ask, why do you do this every morning? Well, that's a good question, I guess, because God puts the desire in my heart to do it. This chapter we're ready for, chapter 13 of Mark, is a parallel passage to the 24th chapter of Matthew. And I've done many messages on the 24th chapter of Matthew, just the false doctrine of preterism, that everything happened in 70 AD. Some people say even Christ came back in 70 AD. Have to scratch your head on that one, don't you? Anyway, probably one of the key verses in this chapter is Mark 13:32. Of that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son but the Father. Well, if nobody knows the day or the hour, how is it that there are those out there that say Christ has already come in 70 AD? And everything was fulfilled in 70 AD. I find that pretty amazing. I find that very amazing. As he went out of the temple, one of his disciples saith unto him, Master, see what manner of stories and what buildings are here. And Jesus answered and said to him, Seest thou these great buildings? There shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Now, I've never been a 70 AD denier. The temple was destroyed in 70 AD, and there was not one stone left on another. Hence, the Wailing Wall is not a part of the old temple, as some people want to purport. And he sat upon the Mount of Olives over against the temple. Peter and James and John and Andrews asked him privately, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign when all these things shall be fulfilled? And Jesus answered them, began to say, Take heed lest any man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And when ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled, for such things must needs be, but the end shall not be yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be earthquakes in divers places. There shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginnings of sorrows. I've often said that these chapters in the Gospels that point to God's coming are showing the chronology of the events leading up to the final return of Christ. He says these are the beginnings of sorrows, but take heed to yourselves, for they shall deliver you up to councils, and in synagogues ye shall be beaten, and ye shall be brought before rulers and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them, and the gospel must be published among all nations. But when they shall lead you and deliver you up, take no thought beforehand what ye shall speak, neither do ye premeditate, but whatsoever shall be given you in that hour, that speak ye, for it is not ye that speak, but the Holy Ghost. Now the brother shall betray the brother to death, and the father the son, and the children shall rise up against their parents, and shall cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And when ye shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand where it ought not, let him that readeth understand. Let them that be in Judea flee to the mountains, and let him that is on the housetop not go down in the house, neither enter therein to take anything out of his house. And let him that is in the field not turn back again for to take up his garment, but woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, and pray that your flight be not in the winter. For in those days shall be affliction such as was not from the beginning of the creation, which God created unto this time, neither shall be. That verse in itself would absolutely decimate the doctrine of preterism, because 70 AD wasn't the days of affliction that was not from the beginning of creation, neither shall be. Until, there's been a lot of affliction worse than 70 AD, since 70 AD. And except that the Lord had shortened those days, meaning those days when there was the greatest affliction since creation, except that the Lord had shortened those days, no flesh should be saved, but for the elect's sake whom he hath chosen, he has shortened the days. Well, it's been a long time since 70 AD. It appears that those days haven't been shortened. If any man shall say to you, Lo, here is Christ, or Lo, he is there, believe him not. For false Christ and false prophets shall rise, and shall show signs and wonders, to seduce, if it were possible, even the elect. But take heed before I have foretold you all things. But in those days, after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. They said this all happened in 70 AD. I don't think there's any history of stars falling from heaven. I don't think there's any record of the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. I don't think the Son of Man came in the clouds with great power and glory in 70 AD, and although the full-blown preterist says that happened. And then shall he send his angels, and shall gather together his elect from the four winds and the uttermost parts of the earth to the uttermost parts of heaven. I don't think that was done in 70 AD either. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When her branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is near. So in like manner, when you shall see these things come to pass, know that it is nigh, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, that this generation shall not pass away till all things be done. The preterists said that was applied to 70 AD, and I think that's preposterous, because all the things weren't fulfilled in 70 AD, and many generations have passed away since that time. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. But of that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. Take heed, watch, and pray, for ye know not when the time is. So, for the Son of Man is a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants, and to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. Watch thee therefore, ye know not when the master of the house cometh, or at midnight, or at cock crowing, or in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what say I unto you? Watch, all watch. Well, preterism was concocted to get people's attention off of Rome, the beast system, just like futurism was concocted to get people off of recognizing that the Antichrist was the beast. All the reformers called the papacy the Antichrist, and it's still the Antichrist today. And there's been a lot of discussion about what is the abomination of desolation. I have my own idea what that is, and I could be totally in error. It says, but verse 14, when you shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet standing where it ought not, it says that they're going to make an image to the beast. Isn't that what they said? And anyone who doesn't take the mark of the beast is going to be killed. That's what it says. That's all I have to say about that. But anyway, this chapter is very good in pointing out the things that are going to happen prior to the return of Christ. You know, and 24th chapter of Matthew does the same, expands on the same thing. You know, just a few key points I want to bring out before we close this out this morning. And I want to point out in this chapter that I think it makes it conclusive that Jesus Christ has not come back and all things weren't fulfilled in 70 AD. Okay. First of all, verse 5, take heed lest any man deceive you. Okay. Next, you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, but the end shall not be yet. Okay. Nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There'll be earthquakes in divers places, there shall be famines and trouble. These are the beginnings of sorrows. Beginnings. The gospel must be published among all nations. There are some people say, well, the gospel was preached amongst all nations in 70 AD. Well, there were nations that weren't even in existence yet in 70 AD. So that dispels that notion. Okay. Did the abomination of desolation happen in 70 AD? I think not. And then also we read that for in those days shall affliction such as not was from the beginning of creation. We've seen tremendous affliction down through the ages of the Church of God. We've seen the Church of God and many martyrs come out of the Dark Ages when Rome massacred millions of Christians. Okay. Verse 23, if it were possible, even the elect would be seduced. And he says that in verse 24 that the sun's going to be darkened, the moon will not give her light, the stars of heaven shall fall, the powers of heaven shall be shaken. So that it appears to me, if I understand this at all, that the tribulation is going to happen before Christ comes back. You know, the secret rapture theory it was promoted by Darby and the Jesuits, again, to get people's minds off of Rome. The fact is, if we're living during the very last days, we're going to have to suffer persecution. And some of us are going to have to go through the tribulation if we're living in that time period. And that generation that are living during that time period will not pass away till all these things be done, verse 30. Not 70 AD, but that generation that are living during the time of the Great Tribulation, which has not occurred yet. Again, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. And then again, take heed, for you know not when the time is. There's been people that have been date setters down through the years, including Campion, Jehovah's Witnesses, Seventh-day Adventists, all kind of people have been date setters down through the years. But no man knows the day nor the hour. So that's kind of my thoughts on that this morning. I hope that makes sense. I think that it's clear Christ is yet to come back. Earth is yet to go through the great tribulation since the beginning of creation. God bless.